Ladies and gentlemen, gather your shadows. You came here looking for motivation. You came here looking for a gentle push, a kind word, a blueprint for success that involves gratitude journals and positive affirmations. Forget all of that. That is food for sheep. You want to become unstoppable? Then you need to understand a truth that most people will never dare whisper. The world is not a playground. It is a gladiator pit. And the only people who win are the ones willing to look into the abyss, smile, and learn the brutal laws of dark psychology. I am not here to teach you morality. I am not here to teach you how to be liked. I am here to teach you how to become a force of nature, unstoppable, inevitable. The person who walks into a room and shifts the gravity without saying a word. Today, I will give you 3 brutal laws. These laws are not suggestions. They are not theories. They are the mechanics of human nature, stripped of all illusion. If you master them, you will never be a victim again. If you ignore them, you will always be a pawn. Law number 1, the law of strategic emotional nullification. The first law of becoming unstoppable is this: your emotions are your enemy, not your friends, not your guides, your enemy. Society has lied to you. They told you to follow your heart. They told you that feeling deeply makes you authentic. Let me tell you what feeling deeply makes you: predictable, controllable, weak. Dark psychology teaches us that every human being is an emotional reactor. When someone insults you, you feel anger. When someone threatens you, you feel fear. When someone shows you love, you feel warmth and drop your guard. These are buttons, and if you have buttons, someone will push them. The unstoppable person has no buttons. They have a dial, and that dial is always set to off. Think about the predator in any room. The narcissist at work. The manipulative partner. The cunning competitor. What do they all have in common? They scan for emotion. They look for the person who flinches. They look for the person who needs approval. They look for the person who blushes, who stammers, who over-explains. Why? Because emotion is leverage. When you react, you hand them the keys to your own cage. To become unstoppable, you must practice emotional nullification. This does not mean you feel nothing. It means you show nothing. It means you separate the internal experience from the external expression. When someone tries to provoke you, you look at them like a scientist, looking at a germ under a microscope. No anger, no fear, just curiosity. Why are they trying so hard? What do they want? And more importantly, how can you use that desire against them? The brutal truth is that most people are addicted to their own feelings. They cannot resist the urge to defend themselves, to explain themselves, to justify themselves. That is a trap. The moment you explain, you lose. The moment you justify, you submit. The unstoppable person remains a blank wall. Words bounce off. Insults evaporate. Threats dissolve. You become a ghost in the machine. No one can manipulate you because there is nothing to grab onto. Remember this: every time you feel the hot rush of anger, that is someone else's hand on your thermostat. Every time you feel the cold sting of rejection, that is someone else's key in your lock. Take the key back. Cut the hand off. Feel the emotion if you must, in private. Later, but in the arena, you are stone. You are ice. You are the silence between heartbeats. That is the first law. Master it or be mastered. Law number 2, the law of calculated transparency. The second law will sound like a contradiction, but listen carefully. The second law is this: tell the truth about your intentions, but hide your strategies. Most people believe that manipulation requires lies. That is amateur hour. Lies are fragile. Lies require memory. Lies create loose threads that can be pulled. The master of dark psychology uses something far more powerful: calculated transparency. Here is how it works. You tell people exactly what you are going to do, but you never tell them how or why. You let them see your direction, but not your methods. You let them hear your voice, but not your thoughts. Why does this work? Because the human mind is lazy. Once people think they understand you, they stop watching. They categorize you. They put you in a box. And that box is exactly where you want them. For example, let us say you want to take over a department at work. A weak person lies. They smile and pretend to be a team player while secretly sabotaging. That fails because people smell the lie. A strong person uses calculated transparency. They say openly, "I want to lead this department. I have ambition. I am not hiding that." Everyone nods and thinks, "At least he is honest." But they do not know that you are already building alliances. They do not know that you are documenting every mistake your rival makes. They do not know that you are subtly reframing every meeting so that your solutions become the only logical answer. You told them your goal. You never told them your game. This is the predator's greatest trick. By being selectively honest, you become invisible. People trust you because you say uncomfortable truths. And while they are busy trusting you, you are moving pieces on the board they did not even know existed. The brutal reality is that most people cannot handle 2 layers of thought. They see honesty. They assume safety. Wrong. Honesty about destination is camouflage for the journey. Think of a chess grandmaster. Does the grandmaster hide the fact that he wants to checkmate you? No. You know from move 1 what he wants. The table is open. The goal is obvious. But you still lose. Why? Because you cannot see the sequence. You see the intention, but you miss the trap. That is calculated transparency. You announce your intention to win, and while your opponent is nodding at your honesty, you are already 3 moves deep into their demise. To become unstoppable, you must stop lying. Lies are for the fearful. Instead, become brutally honest about your ambitions, your desires, your willingness to win. Let everyone know you are dangerous, but never, ever reveal your blueprint. Let them watch you. Let them think they understand you. The moment they think they have you figured out, you change the rules. You become a river. They see the surface. They never feel the current. That is the second law. Law number 3, the law of controlled empathy as a weapon. The third law is the darkest. It is the one that separates the amateur manipulator from the truly unstoppable force. The third law is this: empathy is not a virtue. Empathy is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used to build or to destroy. Most people think empathy is about feeling someone else's pain. No, real, cold, dark empathy is about understanding someone else's pain so perfectly that you can predict their every move, exploit their every weakness, and neutralize their every defense. I am not telling you to be cruel for the sake of cruelty. That is pointless. I am telling you to weaponize understanding. Look at the most successful interrogators, the most feared negotiators, the most dangerous leaders in history. What do they all have in common? They could step inside your mind. They could feel your fear before you knew you were afraid. They know your insecurities better than you did. And they use that knowledge not to comfort you, but to control you. Here is the brutal mechanism. Every human being has a wound, a childhood rejection, a fear of abandonment, a need for approval, an insecurity about their intelligence or their attractiveness. These wounds are invisible to most people, but to the unstoppable person, they are neon signs. You learn to listen not to what people say, but to what they avoid saying. You watch what they defend. You notice what makes them angry or defensive. Those are the fault lines. Those are the cracks in the armor. Once you see the crack, you do not attack it directly. That is clumsy. You simply apply pressure. You ask the question that makes them squirm. You give the compliment that is really a reminder of what they lack. You offer the help that is really a leash. You become so attuned to their emotional state that you can push them exactly where you want them to go, and they will thank you for it. This is the highest form of dark psychology, making your enemy believe that their enslavement was their own idea. Think about the gaslighter. The gaslighter does not shout. The gaslighter whispers. I am only saying this because I care. You are too sensitive. Everyone thinks so, but I am the only one brave enough to tell you. See the mechanics? They use empathy to find the wound, then they use words to salt it. The victim becomes confused, dependent, broken. That is power. Ugly? Yes. Brutal? Absolutely. Effective? Undeniable. Now you might say, I do not want to hurt people. Then stay weak. Stay a victim. The world will not stop using these laws against you just because you refuse to learn them. The predator does not ask the prey for permission. The narcissist does not apologize for destroying your self-esteem. The manipulator does not lose sleep over your tears. You can either be the one who understands the mechanics of the human mind, or you can be the one who is endlessly exploited by those who do. To become unstoppable, you must develop controlled empathy. You learn to feel what others feel, not to save them, but to steer them. You listen to their fears, so you can avoid their triggers, or, if necessary, activate them. You map their desires, so you can offer the illusion of fulfillment while extracting what you really want. You become a mirror. They look at you and see their own hopes and dreams. They never see the hand on the back of the mirror, tilting it, turning them. This is not psychopathy. Psychopathy is random destruction. This is strategy. This is recognizing that every social interaction is a transfer of energy, a negotiation of power, a silent war. And in that war, the person with the most accurate map of the other's inner world always wins. Always. The integration of the three laws. Now let us put these laws together, because a single law is a trick. Three laws together are a transformation. Law 1, emotional nullification, makes you immune to attack. You become a fortress. No insult lands. No threat shakes you. No manipulation hooks you, because you have no visible emotional handles. Law 2, calculated transparency, makes you unpredictable, yet trusted. You move through the world with the permission of your enemies, because they think they know your game. They do not. You are always 3 steps ahead, and they are always 1 step behind, nodding along. Law 3, controlled empathy, makes you the architect of every interaction. You see the cracks in every enemy and the handles on every ally. You do not react to the world. You design the world. You choose who rises and who falls, not with violence, but with understanding, with words, with silence, with a look. This is what it means to be unstoppable. Not invincible in a fight, not richer than everyone else, not louder. It means that no one can surprise you. No one can trap you. No one can use you. Because you have already played every scenario in your head. You have already felt every possible feeling in private. You have already decided what you are willing to do and what you are not. And when the moment comes, you do not hesitate. You do not flinch. You do not explain the cost of becoming unstoppable. But let me warn you, there is a cost. You will become lonely, not because no one is around, but because you will see through everyone. You will watch your friends perform their little emotional dances, their desperate pleas for validation, their clumsy attempts at manipulation, and you will smile, and you will say nothing, and you will feel a cold distance growing inside you. You will realize that most people are not evil. They are just asleep, and you are awake. And wakefulness in a world of sleepers is the loneliest place there is. You will also face a choice. Power without purpose is just tyranny. You can use these laws to destroy, to take, to dominate purely for the sake of ego. Many do. They end up rich, feared, and utterly empty. Or you can use these laws to protect, to build, to navigate a brutal world without becoming a monster. That is the harder path. To hold the dagger and not use it unless necessary. To understand the abyss and choose to build a bridge instead of jumping in. I do not know which path you will take. That is your burden. But do not pretend you have a choice about learning these laws. The world is already using them on you. Your boss uses them. Your partner might use them. Your competitors use them every single day. The only question is whether you will remain the experiment or become the scientist. Whether you will stay on the operating table or pick up the scalpel. Conclusion: the unstoppable mind. So here is your speech. Here is your awakening. You want to become unstoppable? Then memorize these 3 laws. Burn them into your nervous system. 1. Nullify your emotions in public. Become a ghost to those who would provoke you. Feel later. Act never from the wounded heart. 2. Be transparent about your intentions, but opaque about your methods. Tell the truth about where you are going. Never explain how you will get there. 3. Weaponize your empathy. Learn the wounds of every person who matters. Use that knowledge to predict, to persuade, and when necessary, to paralyze. Walk out of this room different. Stop looking for permission. Stop waiting for fairness. The world is not fair. It is a machine of cause and effect, of stimulus and response, of predator and prey. You decide which one you are. The laws are on the table. The darkness is waiting. The only unforgivable sin now is to know the truth and do nothing. Become unstoppable or become forgotten. There is no third option.